All right, let's get into it. Today, we're taking a dive into a dark, rain-slicked city, a real noir world where every soul has a price tag and morality, well, that's just another column in a ledger. We're unpacking a story called A Ledger of Madness. It all kicks off with this line. I mean, what an opener, right? We meet our guy, R.M. Renfield, and we learn right away that he doesn't just have madness, he organizes it, he catalogs it. So you know right from the jump, this isn't just about insanity. It's about the terrifying, twisted logic that can hide inside it. So the curtain rises in an asylum, the kind of place the city shoves its broken furniture and forgets about it. And it's here our main players come together. You've got Archer, the world-wearied private eye, Dr. Seward, young, trying to do some good, and their subject, the man himself, R.M. Renfield. So here's the rundown on Renfield. Yeah, he's an inmate. Yeah, he used to be a clerk for some mysterious boss he calls his principal. But here's the thing that gets Archer's attention. Renfield truly believes that life, actual living life, can be collected, measured, and tallied up like inventory. And his ledger? It's not just a diary of delusions. It's a warning about a very large, very dark shipment that's about to hit the city's shores. See, Renfield's madness has its own bizarre internal logic. He calls it an economy of scale. This isn't just random raving. Oh no, it's a whole philosophical and financial system he's cooked up. And it's all built around consuming life. It's got rules, it's got values, and it's got a crystal clear and frankly terrifying hierarchy. It's a pretty chilling look at how any system, if you take it to its logical extreme, can create its own sick version of morality. And here's how his twisted system works. He explains it almost like compound interest. A fly, that's a tiny deposit. A spider eats flies, so it's a more valuable asset. A bird eats spiders, so its credit is even greater. And then you get to people. In Renfield's accounting, a person is a walking vault, an account packed with extraordinary credit. It's just such a methodical, chilling way to turn human existence into nothing more than a number. So who's at the very top of this grim food chain? Renfield just calls him his principal. But this guy, he's not just a consumer. He's an investor, a predator capitalist whose currency is life itself. And this is our first real, chilling glimpse of the story's big bad, a man named Alucard. Okay, so Archer, our detective, has heard enough theory. He leaves the asylum and steps back into the city's grim reality. Now, Archer's a guy who follows money, not monsters. But he starts to wonder, what if, in this city, they've become the same thing? He decides, what the hell, he's going to check out Renfield's supposedly crazy predictions. And this is the moment everything flips. Archer starts pulling the threads, and every single one of Renfield's mad prophecies starts checking out. There is a freighter. There is a warehouse, leased by a company and signed by a D.A.Q. Lard. And guess what's on the manifest? A cargo of unmarked, coffin-sized boxes. Suddenly, that line between madness and reality is getting very, very thin. So Archer is at the docks watching this shipment get unloaded, and he sees firsthand how this new economy works. A sailor just collapses. But there's no panic. No one yells for a doctor. He's just dealt with, dragged aside. It's not a tragedy. It's a business expense, a minor item in the cost of goods sold. And then Archer sees it, the thing that makes it all click into place. Another clerk, a different one, steps forward. He makes a quick note in a physical ledger right as the sailor dies. And then he closes the book with this neat little snap. And in that instant, Archer gets it. Renfield's ledger isn't a metaphor. These people literally keep an account book of the lives they snuff out. When human beings are just entries on a spreadsheet, morality doesn't even enter the equation. Okay, so knowing the truth is one thing, but doing something about it, that's another. Archer decides he has to see what's in that warehouse. He has to meet the man pulling the strings, Alucard himself. He's walking right into the belly of the beast. And the first thing he sees inside is maybe the biggest shock of the night. It's Renfield. But he's not in an asylum gown. He's wearing a guard's uniform. He's not a prisoner of this system anymore. He's an employee. He got rehired. So up on a catwalk, high above the warehouse floor, the whole conflict of the story gets laid bare. It's Archer, the tired humanist, facing off against Alucard, the ultimate predator capitalist. For Archer, there are some lines you just don't cross. For Alucard, there are no lines, they're only numbers. Life is not sacred, he says. It is a unit, a measure. Chilling. Alucard, who seems almost bored by the conversation, just gives a simple, cold command. And listen to the language he uses. Zero the account. It's the language of bookkeeping, and he's using it to order Archer's murder. He's not a monster. He's a CEO ordering a write-off. And who does he give the order to? The one man caught between both worlds, Renfield. So this is it. This is the moment it all comes down to. Renfield is just frozen, trapped between his master's order and what he calls the screaming souls in his own ledger. His whole life has been about making the numbers add up, finding some kind of balance. And now he has to make one last impossible calculation. And what does he do? He shouts. He shouts the one word that has no place in Alucard's system, the one concept you can't quantify, can't itemize, can't enter into a ledger. In a world built on cold, hard, rational numbers, it is the ultimate irrational act. And in one single, desperate move, he rejects the very thing that has defined him. He throws the ledger, the source of all his madness and all his order, off the catwalk and into the darkness. And then, screaming that one unquantifiable word, he goes after his principal. But the rebellion, it doesn't last long. Alucard ends it, not with some loud, brutal fight, but with this quiet, terrifying intimacy. He just steps in close, whispers something we never hear, and Renfield just drops. Whatever power Alucard has, it's absolute. And just like that, R.M. Renfield is gone. His life, his madness, his one moment of rebellion, all of it is just reduced to a final, simple term from the world he tried to escape. The account is closed. Archer manages to escape the warehouse, but not before he grabs the one piece of evidence that started this whole mess, Renfield's ledger. He meets back up with Dr. Seward, and they try to make some sense of the horror they've just witnessed and figure out what on earth they do next. And inside the ledger, they find this, a mysterious final entry. It's Renfield's handwriting for sure, but it feels different. It's not an accounting of a life he took. It feels like a final balancing of his own books. No debit, no credit. An account settled, but you have to wonder, by who? When you think about it, Renfield spent his life trying to force some kind of rational numerical order onto an irrational horror. And in the end, the only way out for him, maybe the only way to salvation, was to finally embrace that irrationality. It was his one act of defiance, and maybe, just maybe, his most human moment. And that's what the story leaves us with, right? This lingering question. It paints this grim picture of a world where everything and everyone has a price, where cold, hard commerce becomes its own kind of morality. And it really makes you wonder, in our own world, a world that runs more and more on data and deficits and bottom lines, who's keeping the final score?